How to do that. Mr. Wayne knows.
Okay, everybody, we're taking Wayne's World of Wine on the road to Homespin, Kentucky, and I have two wine professionals here with me that they are going to do. This will be our second this will be our second tasting on the road. And so I have very close friends, Stephen and Melinda Arndt, and that we are going to taste a Greek wine. It's a Caldera wine. Asri Tico, and as Stephen just said, he says it smells like Sauvignon Blanc. So, by the way, if I move the camera a little bit, sorry about that. It's kind of hard for me to hold it steady. So we're going to have Stephen and Melinda do the standard. I got a bug flying around here. We're going to do the standard sniffing, and then the swirling and the sniffing, and then each one's going to taste it, and they're going to give me their opinions. And so that'll be kind of cool. Now, let me just put a little disclaimer on here. About a month ago, I did a podcast on this very exact wine. So I did not let Stephen and Melinda listen to my podcast because I didn't want to prejudice their mind. Actually, I wanted to, but then we decided not to.
Happened to have caught that one.
And actually, they didn't listen. So whatever they taste is their tastings. But I'd be interested to see if they pick up the same type of nuances. And actually, I don't remember what I tasted either. So after they give you their opinions, then I'll probably taste it. So, Stephen, if you want to start and tell us, well, let me just kind of help out a little bit. Stephen's holding it up looking at the clarity. The clarity of this wine is very good.
It's good. Yeah, the clarity is very good.
And it's got nice viscosity.
Yeah, you can see the legs on this thing here. It looks like it's got good legs.
Okay.
And then we'll give it the old...
I didn't even know that white wines could have legs like.
Oh, yes, and that indicates the amount of alcohol that's in there. And that's another reason why they call it viscosity. I think this is 13 or 12.5% by volume? I don't remember.
13.
Yeah,
Okay.
13. So that's pretty high.
That's pretty high.
Right, yeah.
All right, Stephen, if you'll give us an idea of your sniffing and see what you get on the nose.
Well, first of all, like I said before, it smells like Sauvignon Blanc.
Yes.
To me, without a question. I always detect with the Sauvignon Blanc that it has an under flavor that can be almost like a finish where it's just a tad bitter.
Mm-hmm.
Just a tad bitter. But it has a nice aroma. I'm smelling, I don't know if I'm smelling lemon.
Yeah.
I'm smelling lemon.
Lemon's what I'm picking up
Yeah.
too, Stephen.
Yeah, it's lemon. But, like I say, yeah, I'm smelling lemon is what I'm smelling on here.
Well, I can chime in if you don't mind. That it's not as lemony as some crisp white wines. In fact, it's barely lemony. I would say it's on a borderline between a lemon and an apple, if that makes any like a green apple.
Sorry about the camera moving. Go ahead.
Not super, it's not a strong indication either way. It's just barely a hint, but maybe you're picking up more lemon than I am.
I'm going to butt in here.
Yeah.
And it's none of my business, but I'm going to. Stephen picked up lemon. Melinda picked up green apple. So I'm sitting here using my big old honker, and I'm actually moving this camera around too much. I'm actually picking up, I think now that Melinda has prejudiced my mind, I'm picking up more green apple than I am lemon.
Yeah.
So as I've told you folks in tastings before, what people plant in your brain tricks your brain into smelling and tasting the same thing. So now that Melinda said that, I'm smelling it, and I agree. It's got green apple in there. Probably a stronger green apple hint than, say, a lemon. You want to give us a shot on the taste?
It's just a hint, though. It's like if you had some sliced Granny Smith apples and
Granny Smith is the one.
Lemon over the top and smelled the bowl, you would get.
Yep, I agree with you.
I can taste the green apple.
Okay.
And I think it's the green apple. When you take a bite out of a green apple, it has kind of that
Puckering?
puckering when it finishes, and that's what I'm getting with this. I'm getting that little bit of puckering kind of.
Now, puckering is generally caused by the tannins in wine. And then people are under this false impression that white wines don't have tannins. White wines do have tannins. White wines have less tannins than red wines because tannins, as you already know, come from the seeds or the pips,
Right.
the stems, and the skins. And white wines go through less of a maceration, which means soaking the skins, than a red wine does. So that's why your red wines have more tannins. But you're absolutely right, Stephen. It's probably tannins that's causing a little bit of puckering. Now, to add to what you said, and I agree with you, I think it's a well-structured wine that the tannins are not overwhelming the fruit, and they're not. But I mean, you can taste the tannins.
They've mixed it quite well. Go ahead.
Well, one other thing, and I don't know if I've ever really picked up on this in a wine before, is this may sound odd, but the little hint of saltiness. Just a hint.
Really?
And I don't know if it's rocky, salty soil where they're growing or if that has nothing
Well,
to do.
Melinda, that's a good point because it's Greece.
It's rocky.
And so it is rocky, and it's probably next to the Mediterranean or the Aegean.
Yeah, it's next to the ocean.
And
water.
I'm cutting Stephen out here.
Yeah.
And it's picking up a little bit of the nuance. That's an interesting point.
I have never noticed a salt, and it's just a hint, again, just a hint. It's a nice, crisp white wine.
And you're right, because the thing is, the salt can actually be in the air. It doesn't have to be. And so the plant can absorb the salt.
We talk about that on several of the podcasts, that wines pick up aromas. For example, it may be almonds because there could be an almond orchard 2 miles away.
Yeah.
And so as the pollen flies through the air.
Or the bees.
Or, it could be honeysuckle fields. Wines pick up all kinds of nuances. So the fact that Melinda picked up salt, that would make all the sense in the world since it's from a Greek island.
Yeah.
I honestly don't know what the grape is. Maybe, I don't know. I'll have to look it up and see. So.
It says it's grown on Santorini.
Santorini, that's the big resort island.
Is known.
Yes.
For both its, so blah blah. It talks about, and it's known for its Syriaco.
So are we high society now because Santorino is a upscale high society vacation land? So the fact that us three cooters are sitting here drinking a wine from Santorini, does that make us high class? I'm just questioning it,
My guess is because I don't know if this was an expensive wine. I don't know.
It is not.
And so, but I'm going to guess.
Under 20.
I'm going to guess on the island.
It's probably $5.
Everyday wine.
It's probably
yes,
everyday
I think
wine.
So.
But even the fact, because it's from right there on the island, they're doing just fine.
Yeah, absolutely.
Now, just as a finished note, I was just saying, I think, as you said, structure-wise, they did a fabulous job.
Yeah.
Because they got that balance between the grape and the apple.
Yes, they did.
Just about right. So it works well together.
It sure does.
So that's what I would say. I think it's a great wine, and like I say, it's like Sauvignon Blanc to me.
You could have a little platter with the olives and your little bits of veggie and crostini and.
So Melinda's giving you the wine pairing. That's an important thing. I think the olives are great. I think some pretty bland crackers with some white hard cheese, along with the olives. And in my case, being I'm a carnivore, a little bit of maybe some thin sliced bruschetta or some maybe sliced salami, very thin sliced.
They say white meat.
Yeah.
Is good pairing with this particular
fish.
wine.
There's
fish, of course, sure.
White meat and stuff like that.
All right. So we're going to end this one, but I have to tell you, the possibility exists that we may do another wine tasting before this weekend's over. We are certainly in no shortage of wines. I always bring adequate wines, and we ended up drinking, 3 bottles last night?
Yes, and there's plenty more.
And so we went out and bought 3 more bottles today. And so we've shifted over from red wine last night to white wine today.
It's a little warm.
And it is warm. It's in the 80s. And we'll probably shift over to red wines again tonight.
Yeah.
And tomorrow is another day. We'll see what happens then. So kudos to Mark and Pam Fullwider for doing their wine tastings live with me. Kudos to Cindy and David Bartolo for doing their wine tastings with me at the campground. And now kudos to Stephen and Melinda for doing their wine tastings. You guys are all now YouTube celebrities and doing fancy wine tastings. Well, listen, thank you all very much. I want to apologize again for shaking this camera around. Usually when I do my podcast, I have the camera reversed and it's showing my ugly face, and it's sitting against a piece of wood so it doesn't move. I'm sitting here holding it in my hand, trying to get these two good-looking folks in here without moving it too much. So again, thank you all very much, and I will see you the next trip around. All right. See you all. Bye.
There we go.